and welcome to another episode of Earth911's Sustainability in Your Ear. I'm Mitch Ratcliffe, and once again, we're back with another innovator interview. We're joined by Heather Crawford, who is the Global Vice President of Marketing and E-commerce for Loop. Now, Loop Store is a really fascinating new way of shopping where you get a tote full of reusable packaged material or products that after you consume what's in those packages, you put it all back in the tote and it goes back to Loop where it is cleaned, reused, and redistributed to people. So it is a true circular economy company, and we are pleased to have you on the show. Heather, how are you today?
I'm great, Mitch. Thanks for having me.
Well, you just launched, after France, the UK, and the United States, your Canadian store, and that's at loopstore.ca. Tell us why Canada is your next step, and particularly the Ontario region.
Sure. So we are excited to bring the Loop customer experience to Canada and specifically to Ontario. We're bringing it in partnership with Loblaws, and we're excited to offer the service to a new market and to Canadian consumers to broaden our reach and to really bring this circular solution to more people. So the Loop customer experience is fundamentally based on a simple idea, right? So what if when you purchased your shampoo or your ice cream, you didn't have to buy the package, which ultimately becomes trash that you as a consumer are responsible for disposing of? We figured out that if you design the packaging to be reusable so that it never sees a landfill, but instead gets used again and again, as a consumer, all you actually need to purchase is the product content, and we can eliminate the idea of single-use disposable packaging. So we were so excited about this idea that we really embarked on a journey to roll it out globally in conjunction with the world's largest global retailers. And the way this works for a Canadian Loop customer is really simple, right? So they can shop online at loopstore.ca from a broad offering of staple grocery and household products, everything from ice cream to shampoo. The products are all delivered to their door in the Loop Tote, and all the products themselves are in reusable, refillable packaging, which might look like anything from a regular glass bottle for beverages to a highly customized stainless steel container. Once they've enjoyed their products, you simply put them back into the Loop Tote, schedule a FedEx pickup from your home, and we hygienically clean all of the packaging to be refilled and resold. So it's a truly circular system, and all of the packaging goes back into a loop.
Now, what you do is you add a little bit of a deposit on each of those packages. How much on that first purchase would somebody expect to pay in additional deposit fees, which of course they then just capture and recollect each time that they return everything?
That's exactly right. So deposit prices range anywhere from 50 cents for something like a standard glass bottle up to $5 for a high value custom package, though these higher deposits are really limited to only a few really special packages in the platform. We're seeing that most customers order somewhere around 10 items in their first delivery. So most people are probably seeing about a $5 to $10 initial cash outlay to cover their first round of deposits. And once you return an empty product, the deposit you paid for it is refunded to your Loop account. So you can reuse them on your next order, and you don't need to pay deposits again and again after the first time.
Now, in Canada, will consumers be able to order everything that you can get in the U.S. or in the U.K. or France?
The assortment is different by market. So brand partners picked either best-selling products from the individual market where we were launching or SKUs that were available and well-known. So in Canada, we've partnered with some really well-known household brands, everything from Heinz, Häagen-Dazs, Hershey's, Nature's Path, Ocean Spray, Seventh Generation, and more, to offer a really wide assortment of grocery and household staples across all sorts of categories. Loblaws is also offering some customer favorite products from their in-house President's Choice brand. So generally, you can find everything from grocery staples like coffee, pasta sauce, cereal, to household cleaning products, and even beauty and personal care products.
So if you're a Loblaw customer, you're going to be able to buy a lot of the things you normally would have purchased at the store.
Yes, absolutely.
Now, why them? Why Loblaw?
Great question. So We're really on a mission as Loop to address the global waste crisis. And our ideal is to make circular shopping available and accessible to as many people as possible. And with this idea in mind, we're really working with the largest retailers in each of the international markets where we've launched, with the goal of broadening our reach and growing the ecosystem rapidly. So Loblaw Companies is the largest Canadian food retailer, and so we're very excited to partner with them to bring the service to as many Canadians as possible. They've been a really strong supporter of trialing the system in Canada and are working with us on concepts for scale up. In most other global markets, retailers are already moving to in-store offerings for Loop, where products are sold on the shelf alongside the rest of the store's assortment and can be returned on your next shopping trip to a collection point inside the store. So based on the success of the e-commerce pilot that we're launching with Loblaws in Canada now, we'll work on a scale-up plan with Loblaws as well.
So will consumers be able to drop off a tote that they've refilled at a Loblaws store?
Yes. So this is the idea for in-store scale-up. Essentially, the idea is that an in-store Loop presence enables a lot more flexibility for the consumer. So there would be in-store collection points, and rather than trying to sync up returning your shampoo and your cereal in the same shipment, which as you can imagine could be a bit tricky, you could drop off a single container or a whole box of returns when you come back to visit the store again. And then in addition to having just the collection point for return in the stores, the retailers are also working to build out in-store Loop product offerings so you can shop the selection right at the shelf alongside the rest of your regular shopping trip.
So do you save money by taking it into the store? It never had occurred to me until just now.
So both return options are free. We try to offer customers as much flexibility as possible, whether you choose to schedule a FedEx pickup from your home or whether you choose to bring the product yourself back to a store. Both options are free.
One of the questions we've had when we've talked about Loop before, and I get email from our readers, is does the tote need to be completely full of the stuff that you ordered in the last order before you can return it? But you mentioned the difference between consuming shampoo and ice cream a moment ago.
Yes, exactly. So we try to offer customers total flexibility in how they return products to Loop so they can really embed it into their lifestyle no matter what frequency they're going through products. So you can return products to Loop in any configuration. You could return one product to Loop in the Loop Tote if you chose to. You could return a completely full tote or a full bag of returns back to a Loop collection point in a store. What we do see is that most of our consumers are really sustainability minded. And so we see them naturally trying to optimize their returns by collecting at least a few or as many products as they reasonably can in one cycle before they have a collection scheduled or they go to a store to make a return.
So they're optimizing as they go along.
Exactly. We do see most of our customers are doing that naturally.
So what happens to a package after you pick it up?
So when a customer is finished with their product, they can schedule a FedEx pickup right to their door at home. Once these products are collected, they are returned to Loop, where we hygienically clean and prepare the packaging for refill by the brands. Brands refill the containers on their production lines, and then they go back into the Loop system to be resold to another customer.
You know, your parent company, TerraCycle, has been a longstanding specialty recycler with a lot of different really fascinating mail-in programs that we've been talking about for years. Would it have been possible for another company than TerraCycle to create this Loop system?
So our background in recycling, I think, really prepared us to be experts in reuse as well, because we understand the limits of recycling. So recycling is a great option for many waste streams and allows you to take products and turn them into raw materials, which can be used to build other products, right? So inherently, this is a net positive from a sustainability point of view. Reuse is an improvement to this overall picture because you no longer need to break down and remanufacture a raw material. So we really view reuse as the next step in the overall sustainability trajectory, improving upon recyclability.
Now, let's talk a little about the partnerships you have with big brands. So Haagen-Dazs you've mentioned, Heinz you've mentioned, and seventh generation, the toiletries and personal goods company are all big partners. Can you buy everything they make now through Loop, or is it more of a set of select products which have been migrated to reusable packaging?
Most brands did target specific SKUs to launch in Loop. So typically, they chose their best-selling core product offering, though some did decide to offer maybe a latest and greatest new formulation, or maybe a particular product type that worked best in reusable packaging. Almost every product can work in a reusable package, but some do require more custom development than others. So some products like household cleaners might wear down reusable packaging over time, and so they need to be in the most durable material type. Some products, you think about things like chips or cookies. In packaging and transport, they need to have very specific insulation, airflow, and spacing in the container to protect them during transit and sale. So some products lend themselves more naturally to being packaged in reusable packaging. We've seen many of our brands enter the platform in some of these low barrier to entry product categories.
Now, so it's surprising to me. A lot of the packaging that you are using is pretty recognizable, like the Heinz ketchup bottle. It is the glass ketchup bottle we all know. But yes. Generally, how much time or effort is involved in onboarding a new product to a reusable package? Does it take months, or are these years-long undertakings by a big brand who wants to try to make the shift to a reusable system?
Some product and product categories were really able to enter Loop in what we call plug and play packaging. So if they had a bottle or a package that was already in a durable material, and that package type was already durable enough for reuse, and we tested each package that went into the system to ensure that it was in fact durable enough to be reused many times. Mm-hmm. In this case, some of them entered with the existing package that you may know today, like the iconic ketchup bottle. Some brand partners really took this as an opportunity to design something game-changing. And in these instances, the packaging development process took a much greater period of time. So some brands have taken as long as 12 to 18 months. A great example of this innovation is the stainless steel ice cream pint that was developed by Nestle.
That is so cool.
It's so cool. It's got incredible features, right? So it's double walled for additional insulation. So the ice cream stays cold, but it doesn't freeze your hand. Mm-hmm. It's precisely engineered in a shape that melts faster at the top than at the bottom, so you can scoop it perfectly. They even specifically contoured the bottom edges to ensure that the spoon fit perfectly and scoops out every last drop of ice cream. So these are the things that are important to them in ensuring a perfect customer ice cream consumption experience. And they really took the time to get the package right.
Now, the other thing I want to dig into a little bit here is the carbon efficiency of e-commerce. I've read a number of different studies, and there's sort of a general consensus that e-commerce, if done at scale, is roughly 15% less carbon impactful than traditional going to the store. Have you analyzed your supply chain in the process to understand what the greenhouse gas footprint is?
Absolutely. So from the beginning, it's been really important to us that we analyze and understand the net environmental impact of our systems to ensure that we're never doing something that just feels green, but instead contributes to worsening the problem. So throughout the development of the platform, we've conducted several rounds of third-party verified LCAs or life cycle assessments, all of which show that a reuse model via Loop is more environmentally friendly than current disposable models. And it looks a little bit different in an e-commerce environment versus an in-store environment.
Sure.
So creating a durable or a reusable container does use more energy and resources initially than creating a disposable or a single-use container. Mm-hmm. However, over time, the reusable container has a lower environmental and economic cost, as it doesn't need to be remanufactured on every use. Instead, just being transported and cleaned is a much lower environmental and economic cost than actually fully remanufacturing the product. Right. So Net, what we found through these analyses is that a reusable bottle in the Loop model has the same impact as the same product sold in traditional disposable packaging at a physical retail location after 3 cycles. So a reusable bottle being refilled 3 times versus 3 disposable bottles being purchased, and the same at 5 cycles if purchased via e-commerce. Oh. And retail has a lower break-even point due to several factors, mostly the environmental cost of a physical brick-and-mortar location, right?
Sure. Now, that's fascinating. So do you publish this so that people can kind of keep track of your progress? And I assume, of course, that you're continuing to refine this all the time. That's one of the things folks in the Earth911 world think about a lot is, like we talked about, they optimize their shopping. They're looking for ways to continually tap into more efficient system. Does Loop have a commitment to publicize their progress towards ultimately a net zero environment?
Absolutely. So transparency is super important to us. We do publish executive summaries of our LCAs. They are publicly available, and we do absolutely continue to look at and evolve them as our model changes to make sure that we are refreshing them and that they're current.
Great. Now, since you we last talked to Loop on the show, you've expanded to U.S. nationwide coverage. And can you tell us a little about the partnerships that you've developed with Kroger and Walgreens? Because, of course, that's where our U.S. listeners might first encounter you.
Absolutely. So Kroger and Walgreens launched a similar pilot in the U.S. in 2019. And from the beginning, they were blown away by consumer adoption and overwhelmingly positive response. And in response to that adoption, they both started really quickly to work on in-store scale-up planning, with the first stores scheduled to launch this year. So initially, customers will be able to drop off empty Loop packaging at select store locations before the in-store program is rolled out nationally.
And in terms of national coverage, are there limits to the regions? Do they need to be highly populated, or are you covering literally the whole United States now?
So in the e-commerce model in the US, we are covering the entire United States. So we're shipping within the 48 contiguous. And then in the in-store model, when we initially launch with Kroger and Walgreens, we will launch in first major metro areas. So we have some sort of population density to really trial the in-store system and get as many learnings as possible. And then we'll quickly work on a scale-up plan.
So how can our listeners find out more and get started, try the Loop experience?
So in Canada, you can find us at loopstore.ca. In the US at loopstore.com. You can check out the products that are available today. And there's also tons of information about what we're doing and where we'll be next.
You have an app that they download to use, by the way.
So we do have an app that's in development and will be available in most of our markets this year. The app is currently live only in France, where we have active in-store collection points and shopping experiences with Carrefour, so France's grocery retailer. And the app will enable drop-offs in all of our other international markets as well. So you can expect to see it in the US, Canada, Japan, and other Loop markets this year.
Well, that's great. Heather, I want to thank you for taking time to explain the Loop system to us and sharing the news about Canada.
Absolutely. It's been a pleasure.
Folks, that Heather Crawford, she is the Global Vice President of Marketing and E-commerce at Loop. And of course, you can check out Loop at loopstore.com, or if you're in Canada, loopstore.ca. This is Earth911 Sustainability in Your Ear. We're going to be back with another innovator interview soon. In the meantime, folks, take care of yourself, take care of one another, and let's all take care of the planet.